Hey, it's Tony Titano. It's kind of late. I just did a giveaway, and before that, I was working on this motorcycle for like 6 hours, trying to put in these handlebars. I don't know if you can see them. They're really sweet. Yeah, I've been waiting for these to come in for like 2 months. But let me show you something here. This is kind of crazy. This is what was on there. Like a $35,000 motorcycle, and it's got handlebars on it that look like they belong on the bike I was riding when I was 10 years old. Crazy. So anyway, I went and got these manly, thick, tubular handlebars for my beast. And the wife and I will be going out tomorrow. She rides a trike, and this is a Street Glide. It's ultra limited, but I took off the Grandpa Tour Pack. I'm in my shop. We'll be doing a lot of videos from here. Oh man, I love this bike. So anyway, let me just have a seat over here, and we're gonna chit chat for a little bit. Man, my back is killing me. Now, how do I turn this thing around so that it's facing? All right, so, I'm lining up tons and tons of people from the Discord community that want to be on the show. So that's a good thing. I've probably got over 60 people that want to be on the show. And, I'm going to have a real mixture, There's going to be for the regular folks like myself who don't know a whole lot about crypto. We're going to be chewing the fat, just talking about life, how we came into Titano, our thoughts and ideas about it, how our families feel about it, what it's doing, what it's not doing. And, that's going to turn into, I think some really interesting personal stories, because we all have those stories. And I think it's in those stories that I'm really interested in, because, if we're not looking at life in a way that's introspective, we're not learning lessons from the mistakes that we make, and even from the things that happen well, we're in for some bumpy rides. So that's what I'm into, and I'm really interested in it. And I want to kind of give you guys an idea just who's talking to you, and what kind of life am I leading? Where have I come from? And I like my story because my story is one that I think a lot of people can relate to. And when people look at the success that my business has now after 13 years, they might get the wrong idea, because we got a lot of nice things. We got a lot going on. It's doing really well. But we've also worked our asses off for 13 years. And so, the first 10 years, all right, didn't look like the last 3. So a lot of times, you'll hear some catchphrases that people will say. They'll say, well, I was an overnight success after 13 years or after 10 or 12 years. That's about what it takes, if it's going to happen, to, dig your way out of nation building, which is what you have to do in business for the first 10 years, and sometimes longer. And then, of course, there's businesses that never make it to 10 years, and they never make it past the first year or even 5 years. And the statistics are just, miserable when it comes to businesses and their survival. And so, before we start getting into some of the folks at the Discord community, before we start learning about Titano from some of the experts that are over there, and before we start chewing the fat, I just wanted to give you a kind of an idea where I'm coming from. And so you can better understand the types of questions that I'll be asking people and the point of view that I have. And I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Like many people, 13 years ago, I found myself in a situation where I was broke. And I mean, I didn't even have gas money. And so I was working three jobs. Um, One of the jobs was driving a limousine. The other job was driving a tractor trailer. And then my third job was working at a farmer's market for somebody who was selling health food and honey. And so this was back in like 2008, 2009 era. And I could not find work during the week. And the reason why I couldn't is because I had just gotten out of the Army. And when the towers fell, I volunteered I joined the Army at 35 years old. That is a young man's game. I don't recommend anybody do that, but I did it. Did 2 tours in Iraq, and I had a lot of interesting experiences there. A lot of those definitely prepared me for business, but let's just kind of like center right about the time when I started my business, because that's when I really started looking at my life and deciding that I was not happy with the trajectory that I was on. So 13 years ago, I was working those 3 jobs. And as I say, they were all on the weekends, and there was nothing during the week. And, I just wasn't getting any sleep at all. I was going from job to job. I'd be taking care of drunks and cleaning up after them in the limousine. Then I'd jump into my car and go to the mail depot, where I'd hop into a tractor trailer 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I wouldn't get back until like, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 6:30 from that run. And then I would have to run all the way over to this guy's house and grab tables and chairs and go set up for farmers markets. And that was my life for a good many months. And I got to tell you, at that time I was around 42, and I was just really feeling like I was at the end of my ropes. And I just wasn't having fun anymore. I was thinking to myself, man, if this is what life has in store for me, I'm ready to check out now. It's not fun. And in all honesty, I just felt like, when am I going to get my shot? When is it going to come to me? I felt like I worked hard all my life. I always wanted to have a business. Those things didn't work out. My marriage was in a free fall. And I mean, just everything was, at the bottom. And I'm thinking, well, I'm 42 years old, and it looks like the end is near. And so on several occasions, I just would lose it. I'd just go crazy, and I'd be driving a tractor trailer with my head out the window, and I'd be screaming to God, and I would tell him that this sick joke wasn't funny, and that I just wanted him to stay out of my life and leave me alone. And I was serious, and I just wanted it to be over, because it looked like the rest of my life was going to be a big giant joke. And so I think a lot of people can relate to being in that kind of a situation where you're just spinning your wheels, and it doesn't feel like you're getting any traction. You don't know what you're going to do. So I remember I had a pretty severe outburst in the parking lot of the tractor trailer place one time. And I just felt like I was really getting ready to lose it. And an interesting thing happened, because just when I was feeling like I was at my lowest, an interesting thing happened. And one day at the farmer's market, this was about 2 weeks after my major outburst. If anybody saw me in the car, they would have probably called the police or something. I said that something's wrong with somebody inside their car. But a kid comes up to the farmer's market table. He says, "Hey, my dad is a beekeeper, and he's got a 2-year supply of honey locked in his shed, and he wants to know if you want to buy it." So, I don't know, for some reason or another, the universe did finally take pity on me and brought me this young man. And so I took his information, and I did go there later that night. And sure enough, this guy had like an old metal shed in his backyard, and it was full of honey in jars already, crystallized, totally crystallized, no labels. They were in glass jars and they're covered with dust and just, from being outside in this little tiny little shed. And it was full from top to bottom, from front to back. But I had $212 to my name. And over 100 of that I had to give to the guy whose farmer's market table I was working. So really, I had less than $100 to my name. But I sat there and I'm thinking about what to do, and I could only afford one case of honey, and so I bought the case of honey with the money that I needed to pay. That was somebody else's money. I took that money and I bought that case of honey, and I immediately went home and I fashioned I just hand painted a sign that said raw honey. I grabbed a table, a chair, and a sombrero, and I sat on the side of the road and I sold that honey. And I could not believe it. I mean, cars were stopping and buying honey, and before I knew it, I had sold out of that case of honey. So I went back and bought 2 more cases, and I sold those. And so I was able to pay the guy the money I owed him, and I was making money. And I was making it, I was making pretty good money, actually. That most of the time when I'd go set up out there, I was making anywhere from $150 to $350 and sometimes $400 a day. So I did this for a couple of weeks, and I started thinking to myself, what am I going to do? Because now I've got 4 jobs, and, I don't feel like, I'm tired because I'm just spinning my wheels. But there was something inside of me that was telling me that I could not serve more than one master. And so the sense that I got is that I needed to quit the tractor trailer job. I needed to quit the limo job, and I needed to quit or figure out how I was going to start a business with the honey that I was doing, and probably have to quit the farmer's market also. So what had happened is I asked the guy who I was working at the farmer's market with, and he was like, like I told you, he was selling health food like goji berries and things like that, and then honey also. But he was spending a lot of time with the health food part and wasn't really paying attention to the honey part. And so it was my sense that he was overworked and he needed some help. So I asked him, hey, let's go into business together. I'll run the honey part of it and you run the health food part. Well, he didn't want any part of that. And he just felt like there weren't enough profits to go around. So I had a big decision to make. What was I going to do? Was I going to continue to, make peanuts working for other people, or was I going to take the chance and jump in with both feet? Now, I knew what I had to do, and so I started telling all my bosses that I was going to give up a sure thing for something that had no guarantees whatsoever. Okay? So right away, I got into the habit of really not knowing what was going to happen, whether I was going to make one cent or more. Sometimes, like I said, we would make a couple $100. Now, there were times actually later, I'll tell you, when things start picking up, where I really started to figure out what I was doing and what I had in my hands. I made $1,500 a day just sitting out on the side of the road selling honey. But I did quit those jobs, and I jumped in with both feet. And I was scared, guys. I was scared out of my mind because I'm 42 years old or whatever it was. I have, in my estimation, my life had amounted to just about zero. And here I am thinking that I'm going to start a business, and I remember driving one day just saying, to the big man upstairs, like, what makes you think that I could do this? And if I am going to do it, I said, I got to have my burning bush. I need something. You're going to have to come down here. You got to tell me what to do, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know anything about the honey business. I don't know anything about the honey industry. And if I've made a wreck out of my life up until this point, how in the world am I going to do something with a business? And so I was really worried because I did not think that I had the right stuff to make it work. But I was desperate, I was tired, and I just felt like I wanted to give things one more shot. And and so I did. I believe it was maybe a month or two after I had started selling the honey that I did quit those jobs, and I quit. And I immediately went to work, and I went to work every single day. And I would set up on the side of the road selling honey. And so I made tons of contacts. I started building a customer base. I was making really good money, like a couple $1,000s a week. And things were looking up. And I was having a regular gig. And the funny thing is that for the first 6 months, I was just sitting there waiting for cars to stop, and I'd be thinking to myself, who am I fooling? How in the world what am I doing? I'm just sitting outside. I'm baking in the sun. Yeah, bugs trying to get in my ears, my nose, my mouth. I'm sweating like crazy. It's just, it was like if it was raining and storming, I was still out there, the wind, and it was really, really tough. And I just was, very negative at the same time as being out there and hopeful. So, my experience is that things didn't work out, weren't going to work out. And so there was no expectations that they were, but yet people were stopping every day and buying honey. And it just blew my mind. And I just couldn't believe it because I kept thinking, oh, the next car that stops will be the last car. And there won't be one after that. But there was. And it just kept coming and coming and coming. And I'm going to tell you guys, for the last 13 years, I have not had a vacation. And nobody in my family has. We have worked 7 days a week because this thing has been from the start, like holding a tiger by the tail. So all I can tell you, and I tell you these stories because I want you to see that you can come back, you can rise from the ashes, you can absolutely make whatever you want out of yourself. You can rise to the highest level, or you could sink to the lowest level also. There's nothing special about me. Let me tell you something. I never graduated high school. I don't have a formal education, was never trained for anything except driving a forklift, and tractor trailers. So when people ask me, how I was able to do what I've done, I just tell them I'm a stubborn son of a bitch. I never give up. I never lay down. I never quit. When somebody tells me I can't do something, I get it in my head that I'm going to fucking do it. It's just that simple. I can't stand being told no. And I think that it is the key to success, because everything that I've learned after I started my business, I've learned from the business. The business has presented me with opportunities to grow along with it. It has needs just like a person. And so it would say, hey, I need this. And it was my decision to say yes to it and give it what it needed and grow the business, or you don't. And so everything that I've learned along the way, I learned from the business. And it's been a real mentor to me. And, part of the process of mentoring is that once you've made something of yourself, you feel obligated to give back, to help people who were in the same boat that I was in. And that's why I'm doing this, because it's my way of giving back to the well of experience. Because, we're not born with the answers to all these problems. We have to learn them, and we have to have examples to live by. And we have to have people who have done the things that we want to do, take the time to sit down with us and explain how they were done. All right, so a lot of us, including myself, We did not grow up in households where these kinds of issues were covered. I'm talking about, concepts like personal growth, spiritual growth. These are very difficult and hard concepts to come by unless you have the benefit of somebody close to you to present these ideas and notions to you, or if you're an avid reader like I was and like I still am. But it's a long process. It's still happening. I've done very well. It's a family business. My wife, my 2 kids, and myself, we run the business entirely. And, last year was the first year we had some really good profits, and I took those profits, took about $25,000, and I put it into some yield farming and crypto. And I grew that 25,000 into over 200,000. And a lot of that 200,000 is now in Titano. So I have a lot on the line. And part of what I'm doing here is protecting my investment. And in the process, I'm gonna teach you how to protect your investment, and you'll be protecting my investment. But mostly what we're gonna do here, and my intention, is to get everyone that I can to take some kind of ownership with this project, because it is so very important for you to realize that this is yours and that it's mine, and that we have a responsibility to do what we can for this project. If you really care about your investment, if you're worried about it, if you think it's going to do something, then you need to get busy. All of you. And we are going to figure out what it is that we can do. And each of us has skills and gifts that, are unique to you. And so you're going to do things that I don't do, and I'm going to do things that you don't do, and the next guy's going to do things that both of us don't do. But maybe you're, very skilled in desktop publishing, or maybe you're an artist, or maybe you understand math really well, or maybe you understand crypto very well. I want all of you on this show explaining to your business partners your expertise. Along the way, we're going to learn everything we can about Titano and about the concepts of crypto, but we're also going to learn a lot about each other. And I think that that's important because, like I said, we're business partners, and I want to know who my partner is, and I hope you want to know who yours is. So that's about it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stories that I'm telling you to flesh out examples that we're talking about in future shows. I have tons and tons of stories that will make you laugh, make you cry, and just astonish you. And, I can tell you, I'm not a churchy person, but there's no question in my mind that there is wind in the back of my sail. And I don't know where it's coming from. I can't describe it to you and tell you what it is, but I've had help. And I think that this is an important thing to hear and understand, because so many of us feel like we are alone and that we don't have a prayer. But I think we do have a prayer. But we need to take care of each other. We need to encourage one another. And that's what's going to happen here. And I have no explanations for what God is. I can't tell you. I can't tell you if God is an energy, a person, an old man, a woman. I don't know what God is, but I know that something has been looking over me, has been watching over me, has been giving me strength when I needed it, and has been guiding me because I was just too stupid to do the things that I've done. Now, I've learned a lot over time. So, whatever God is, it's kind of like training wheels. And I'm very grateful for it. And it's time to get back and to get all of you on your feet. And it's time to mobilize this army and get Titano going and doing whatever we can to make it the best project in the world, which it already is, but we really want to make it shine. That Discord community is really something special. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm very impressed with so many people that I see there. There's so many good folks. And we're going to do something really hot here. And I want everybody's participation in this. And so if you got ideas, you can send me notes here in the YouTube, or you can send me notes in Discord. All right. And I'll try to somehow incorporate it into what it is that we do. Okay, so that's it. It's been a bit long-winded at 23, 24 minutes already. So the next set of videos are going to be from people within the Discord, and we'll be wrapping that up in the next couple of days. So thanks for everything. I can't even believe that we got like 50 subscribers or something without even any videos up there. So it's really, really kind of neat. And my little 9-year-old daughter's just like, she can't even believe it, that you could get so many subscribers and not even have content up. So this will be the first video. The rest of them are going to be, we'll be on video chats and phone calls with people from the Discord. So some of the folks that you're used to seeing now, you're going to hear their voices or maybe even see them on screen. And we're going to hear their story, and we're going to figure out what it is that they got to give back to the community too. And we're going to do it. We got some really sharp people coming. This is really going to be good. So anyway, I'm tired, my back hurts, and I just want to lay down. And I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.